So this question looks like it's going to be a translate word problem question. I say that just given the length of the question is 4 or more lines long. So whenever I have these questions, I never like to read through them all the way. I just try to read one sentence at a time, making sure to write down anything that is important, any quantitative information or anything that I think that I can translate. So the first sentence here says a rectangle is inscribed in a circle such that each vertex of the rectangle lies on the circumference of the circle. So first of all, I'm going to draw that. Doesn't have to be a perfect drawing, so I'm going to draw a circle, obviously not perfect, and I'm going to draw my rectangle inside of that circle, also obviously not perfect, which is perfectly fine. The next sentence says the diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side of the rectangle. Okay, so this is really turning into a plug-in picture question because now that we've plugged in this picture, based upon translating the words in the first sentence here, I need to label this picture with the information provided in the question. So it tells me that the diagonal, which is here, is 2 times the length of the shortest side. Well, the shortest side I'm going to call X, right? It's going to call that side right here. That side of the rectangle is X, which makes this diagonal 2X, okay? Now, this looks a bit familiar to me, and hopefully it looks familiar to you. This is a right triangle that we have once we draw that diagonal, and having a short side that's X and a hypotenuse as 2X really means what we're dealing with here is a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So, this is probably some of the translation portion here, right? The question doesn't tell us we have a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, but it does, in fact, give us enough information to figure out that that's exactly what we have, which means I know, based upon the 30, 60, 90 right triangle in your reference sheet, that this has to be x square root 3, right? The long side of a 30, 60, 90 right triangle has a length that is x square root 3. So next sentence, the area of the rectangle is 1,089 square root 3. Well, how do you find the area of a rectangle? That's just length times width. So our length here is x root 3. Our width is x. I'm just multiplying that. I'll put the x in front. And the question is saying that those two things multiplied, the product of those two things is equal to 1,089 square root 3. The question goes on to say, what is the length in units of the diameter of the circle? Okay, well, they haven't used this word diameter up until this point, but we already have the diameter drawn in our diagram here, right? Because this is the center of the circle. The diagonal of the rectangle is also the diameter of the circle. So basically, the question is asking us to find 2x. What is the value of 2x? So let's start doing some algebra now. So this becomes x squared root 3 equals 1,089 root 3. I can divide both sides of the equation by square root 3. So what I'm left with is x squared equals 1,089, which means I can square root both sides of this, which in fact gives me x is equal to 33. But the answer isn't 33 because we're not looking for the short side of the rectangle. We're looking for the entire diameter, which is 2x, right? So 2x is equal to 2 times 33, which is equal to 66. So our correct answer to this question is 66.